Today we'll be covering how to make advanced dining reservations and discussing some of the top restaurants to consider for your Walt Disney World trip. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm your host Oliver. Today is Sunday, September 17th, and you're listening to episode 2, Advanced Dining Reservations and Top Restaurants for Your Walt Disney World Trip. Before we get into today's main topic, let's talk about what's going on in the parks. If you've got Encanto lovers in your party, Mirabelle's Meet and Greet is now in Magic Kingdom as of September 15th. She will be available for meet and greets year-round going forward. She is located where the Merida Meet and Greet used to be at Fairy Tale Gardens. Bruno from Encanto has also joined the Disney Adventure Friends Cavalcade, which takes place at Magic Kingdom twice daily. Annual pass holders will be able to pick up a brand new exclusive magnet beginning on September 20th through October 23rd, while supplies last. The magnet features Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Disney shared a preview of what they will look like on their website. Pass holders can pick up their magnets at the Creation Shop at Epcot. You must show proof of pass holder status, and there's a limit of 1 magnet per pass holder. Pass holders will also have access to 2 exclusive treats at Sunshine Seasons in Epcot. The Oswald Triple Chocolate Cake, which features chocolate ganache, chocolate mousse, and crisp pearls with a white chocolate cookie dome, as well as the Oswald Cookies and Cream Shake, garnished with an Oswald chocolate coin. Extended evening hours are coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom. The perk reserved for Disney Deluxe Resort guests will be available at Animal Kingdom for the very first time on select dates in November and December. The specific dates will be November 8th and 22nd and December 4th and 28th. And the hours will be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks Dessert Party is returning this year, which includes a buffet of treats at Tomorrowland Terrace restaurant and a spot in a reserved seating area for the fireworks show. This separate ticketed experience takes place on the same nights as Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party in Magic Kingdom, which is select nights between November 9th and December 22nd. You'll be able to make your reservations beginning on September 28th on the Disney website, and the prices are $114 for adults and $69 for children. In merchandise news, Disney announced a new Epcot Reimagined collection. Disney released preview photos and the line looks really good. Disney said these feature fan-favorite attractions and experiences. It includes a t-shirt, a Spirit jersey, a zip-up hoodie, and a Dooney & Bourke tote and crossbody bag. It also features a light-up figurine of Spaceship Earth that I definitely need in my living room. With that said, let's get into today's main topic, which is booking dining for your Walt Disney World trip. Before I get into the top places to dine during your vacation, I want to cover how you go about booking dining in the first place. So if you have a stay booked at a Disney owned and operated resort, and you have your resort stay linked to your My Disney Experience account, you'll be able to make dining reservations for the entirety of your stay for up to 10 days, starting at 60 days before your check-in day. Quick side note here, if you have a trip coming up and you have not created a My Disney Experience account and downloaded the app, now is the time to do so. Now, reservations open up at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at exactly 60 days. They have been known to open a touch early, so it doesn't hurt to be on there 15 or 30 minutes early. Again, that drops every day for the entirety of your stay if you're staying on property. If you are not staying on property, you'd have to go on every day of your trip 60 days before each day to try for the reservations that you want. This may seem like overkill, but make no mistake, the most popular restaurants will absolutely book up at 60 days. So if there's a restaurant you really want to experience, you have to plan ahead of time and be ready to go when your booking window opens. Now, for example, if you were staying at a Disney resort from December 22nd to December 29th, on October 23rd, you would be able to book dining for all days between December 22nd and 29th. It is in your best interest to book your harder-to-get reservations like Space 220, Cinderella's Royal Table, Topolino's Breakfast, Storybook Dining at Artist Point, Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, Ohana, etc. later in your booking window. The reason I say this is because if you try to book these restaurants on the first day of your trip at exactly 60 days out, reservations are open to absolutely everyone at 60 days. So it can be difficult to grab the reservation you want. Also, other hotel guests whose trips started earlier and ended around the first few days of your trip were able to book those days at the opening of their booking window. You are much more likely to find success in booking the dining you want at the time you want by booking those hard-to-get reservations on the last few days of your trip. Using our earlier example, if your stay started on December 22nd, that would mean trying for your hard-to-get reservations on December 27th or 28th. It's definitely a good idea to have a list of your must-get restaurants to prioritize these over others. Also, you should be booking the restaurants you want most that are hardest to book first. So for example, if you're wanting to secure Storybook Dining, you should book that one first, even if it falls later in your trip, because it will be one of the hardest to get. If you really want to maximize your chances, it doesn't hurt to have you and another member of your party booking at the same time and prioritizing the different restaurants you want to book. My wife and I do this when we book our dining. We make a morning of it. We make a pot of coffee, watch the clock wind down, and make our reservations as quick as we can when the reservations go live. A couple of other tips that could help you in getting the restaurant you want is dining at off-peak times. So if you're booking lunches between 11 and 1 p.m. and dinner between 5 and 7 p.m., those popular times are going to go first, guaranteed. If you're willing and able to dine at off-peak times, like a late lunch or an early or later dinner, you may find success trying for those times. Also, if a reservation for a day you wanted is completely booked up, no matter what time you try, don't despair. You still have a few options. You can keep checking the My Disney Experience app periodically to see if availability opens up. People change plans all the time, and reservations do tend to open up as you get closer to your trip. Oftentimes, in the 1 or 2 days before, even the day of, there will be openings. There is a 2-hour cancellation policy for most restaurants, and so people can cancel up to that time, and they do so all the time. I have found success using this tactic on more occasions than I can count. If you don't have time or don't want to spend your time checking the My Disney Experience app, and don't want to risk trying to grab a last-minute reservation, services like Mouse Dining, which is a website you can sign up for, will send you push notifications for the restaurants and times you want if availability opens up. They have free and paid services. They don't sponsor the show in any way, but I know people have found success using them or services like them. If all that fails, many restaurants will have walk-up wait lists. And if the waitlist is open and when you are nearby, you can join the list on the My Disney Experience app and you will be notified when a table becomes available. Now, this doesn't mean the table will be available right away. You're more than likely facing a wait. You can also check in at the front counter of the restaurant. For the restaurants that do have walk-up wait lists, these do book up, so it's not a sure bet that there will be availability. But it's definitely worth a try if you're really wanting to eat at a specific restaurant you weren't able to snag a reservation for. Another thing you can try is lounges. So for example, if you wanted to eat at Hollywood Brown Derby at Hollywood Studios, but weren't able to snag a reservation, they do have a lounge attached to the restaurant that does not require advanced dining reservations. You can order certain menu options from the restaurant right from the lounge. You can have that famous Cobb salad and not have to worry about getting into the restaurant if you weren't able to. The key here is being prepared. It's knowing which restaurants you would like to experience, be aware of the ones that are harder to book, and prioritizing those ones first. If you do that, you're already ahead of the game, and your odds of snagging at least some of your coveted reservations goes way up. Now, having said all that, let's get into some of the best places to eat on property. Quick disclaimer here, you may have heard differing opinions when it comes to dining in and around the parks. Some people love it, others hate it. The truth is, I love the food at the parks. Now, there is bad food at Disney, there's no doubt about that, you've heard me say this before, but if you do a little research and preparation, you can truly have some stellar dining experiences during your trip. So, are you curious to know which restaurants you should be trying for? Let's explore that a little further. I'll be covering some of the top table service restaurants or sit-down restaurants to eat at each park. And I'll also cover a few of the best restaurants at Disney Resorts and Disney Springs. I'll break this down into 3 categories. 1, experience and immersion. 2, best food. And 3, best for more adventurous eaters. Now, all of these places may not be best for you and your party, but hopefully, this will help you narrow down which places you and your party would like to eat. Let's kick things off at Magic Kingdom. Dining at Magic Kingdom has a notorious reputation, but there's good dining experiences and food to be had there, that's for sure. So for experience and immersion, there's Be Our Guest and Cinderella's Royal Table. Cinderella's Royal Table is very immersive. In my opinion, if this is your first trip, or perhaps your only trip, or if you've never dined there, it's a must-do experience at Walt Disney World. There's just something about going up in Cinderella's castle that's quintessential Disney. The dining room is beautifully themed, and while you're there, you will get to meet and greet with 5 princesses. They tend to rotate at times, but currently Cinderella is in the lobby downstairs, and you can meet her before you go up to your table. The others will come around during your dining experience. Some of the princesses you'll see here are Rapunzel, Aurora, Ariel, Jasmine, and Snow White. The menu here is a prix fixe menu. Breakfast is $65 for adults and $39 per child, and $79 for adults and $47 per child for lunch and dinner. There are good options for adults like the grilled beef tenderloin or the spice rubbed pork. There's also chicken, fish, and pasta options. The kids menu has chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, good options for the pickier littles. Now, there's no denying that this place is expensive, but it is quite an experience, and if you can fit it into your budget, it's definitely worth it. One thing to note, Cinderella's Royal Table does require that you pay for your meal ahead of time when you make your reservation, and it includes gratuity. The cancellation window for this restaurant is also 24 hours and not 2 hours like most other restaurants. Having said that, if you have someone in your party who is a big fan of princesses, you won't be disappointed. Like I said, in my opinion, it's a must-do at least once. Be Our Guest restaurant is in Fantasyland, tucked at the back of the park near Enchanted Tales with Belle. The Beast Castle is set in the distance, and the hosts will bring you in when your party is called. Inside the restaurant, there are 3 dining rooms: the Grand Ballroom, the West Wing, and the Rose Gallery. The dining rooms are really impressive and immersive, and there's lots of Beauty and the Beast nuggets to be seen all around. I don't want to give too much away. The Beast will also make appearances during your dining experience, which is a fun character to see. The food is French-inspired cuisine, and both the lunch and dinner are prefixed 3-course menus. Prices are $39 per child, $67 for adults. That's for lunch and dinner, which is quite steep. The food there is good. There is a good French onion soup. The filet mignon is nice. There is mac and cheese, chicken strips, and fries for the pickier littles. The star of the show is the trio dessert, which includes the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. Sorry, I had to. I quite enjoy it there, and the Imagineers, the people who think up all this magical stuff, did a really good job here. Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest are both hard to get reservations, with Cinderella's Royal Table being the most popular of the two. For best food at Magic Kingdom, there's Liberty Tree Tavern. This restaurant is in Liberty Square, looking out to where you can catch the Liberty Square riverboat. The restaurant is themed with 6 historically themed rooms that represent various U.S. history figures. The food here is quite literally like Thanksgiving dinner. Think turkey, pot roast, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and the delicious ooey gooey toffee cake for dessert. Lunch and dinner is all you care to enjoy family style. Prices are $39 for adults and $21 for kids, which isn't bad by table service Disney standards. Now, this meal is good, absolutely. Having said that, you may not want a full-blown Thanksgiving dinner when it's 100 degrees out, and you still intend to spend more time in the park. So something to keep in mind there. It's also generally not too hard to get a reservation here. For best or more adventurous eaters, there's Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Canteen, or just Skipper Canteen for short. This is one of my favorite places to eat at Magic Kingdom. It's located in Adventureland near the Jungle Cruise attraction. The restaurant itself, as you may have deduced already, is themed to the Jungle Cruise. You will get some punny humor from your waiter here, which is awesome. There's a lot to take in at this restaurant and lots of Easter eggs hidden or in plain sight. The menu features Asian, South American, and African-inspired dishes, and there are some really good options that differ from your standard theme park options. The Orinoco Idas cachapas are delicious. The taste like chicken because it is crispy chicken with sweet chili glaze served with stir-fried veggies and jasmine rice is also a solid option. The kungaloosh dessert is worth a try. It's a caramelized banana served with cashew, caramel ice cream, and coffee dust. There's some really solid dishes at this restaurant. Prices are reasonable with appetizers in the $10 to $15 range and entrees from $28 to $38. There is chicken and mac and cheese for the pickier littles in your group. If you're looking for something different in Magic Kingdom, this is a great option. Next, we're going over to Hollywood Studios. So Hollywood Studios is a smaller park, and in terms of table service dining options, they are fairly limited, but there's definitely some good options. So for experience and immersion, I have to mention Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. This is one of my favorite places to eat across the 4 theme parks, and here's why. It's quiet, it's cool, and it's dark. And on a hot, crowded day in Hollywood Studios, it's usually exactly what we need. It's the perfect place to cool down and relax before continuing on with your park day. The restaurant is themed to a 50s-style drive-in theater. The tables are literally cars. Disney calls them automobooths, facing a large screen playing old sci-fi movie scenes. The ceiling looks like the night sky, and your bill at the end of your dining experience is stamped with parking violation. Overall, the theming of this place is great. The food here is standard American diner fare. It's nothing to write home about, but it hits the spot on a busy park day. They have some pretty good milkshakes here that should please most park goers. Prices range from $11 to $15 for appetizers and $19 to $27 for entrees, which again is reasonable for Disney table service standards. Reservations here actually book up quite fast, so if you're wanting to dine here, make sure to make those reservations at 60 days. I do want to give a quick honorable mention to Hollywood and Vine, which is the character dining experience in Hollywood Studios. For breakfast, the Disney Junior characters are there for meet and greets, and for lunch and dinner, there's Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Pluto. The food is American buffet style, and it is one of the most affordable character dining experiences on property. For best food, there's Hollywood Brown Derby. This restaurant is themed to the golden age of Hollywood. It's actually a replica of the Brown Derby in Hollywood. Inside, the walls are filled with caricatures of famous people. The restaurant is not overly themed, and it is a signature restaurant, so the prices are definitely on the higher side. The food is contemporary American dining, and there is some stellar options on the menu. The Cobb salad is very popular, as well as the Brown Derby original grapefruit cake. Appetizers are in the $13 to $21 range, and the entrees can run up to $60. If you want to dine there without having to worry about making an advanced dining reservation, you can always visit the lounge and enjoy many of the menu options from the restaurant. Best for more adventurous eaters, there's Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. Now I know what you're thinking, barbecue is not exactly adventurous, and you'd be correct. However, the table service restaurants at Hollywood Studios tend to offer the more accessible food for most people at their table service restaurants. Roundup Rodeo Barbecue opened earlier this spring and is very popular as people are still experiencing it for the very first time. This restaurant is heavily themed to Toy Story, and it is very cute inside. Here you'll see the world through the eyes of Andy's toys. The food is fixed price family-style barbecue. They bring you 3 salads and homemade cheddar biscuits to start, following by your choice of house-smoked meats or plant-based trio with 4 sides. The dessert, there is cake and pies served in little jars, as well as forky cupcakes, which are sure to please the littles in your party. The meat platter may not appeal to all guests, so you can substitute that for the plant-based options. There are some accessible sides like the mac and cheese, and everyone should be able to find something that they'd like to eat here. Prices are on the higher side at $45 for adults and $25 for kids for lunch and dinner. Having said all that, if you've got Toy Story fans in your party, this is definitely a must-do dining experience in my opinion. Now over at Epcot. You have so many options to choose from that it's really hard to narrow down to 1 or 2 options, but I think there are some standouts that are popular for good reason and that you should prioritize if they interest you. So first up, for experience and immersion, we're going to Space 220. This is a newer restaurant that opened in September of 2021 in the Mission Space Pavilion. The premise is you take an elevator 220 miles above Epcot to the Centauri space station to dine among the stars. When you check in for your reservation, you'll receive a ticket to board the elevator to the space station and head in when your party is called. The restaurant is so well themed, and the windows are giant screens that look out over Earth from space. You may even catch a glimpse of some things floating by. The food here is described as modern American cuisine. There are definitely interesting things on the menu, but there are some accessible options for children and pickier eaters. Reviews as far as the dining goes are pretty split here. However, we have had good meals here at both the main dining room and the lounge. The short rib and filet mignon are both delicious, and there are some fun drinks for the 21 and over crowd. It is a fixed price menu, and the prices are steep at $79 for adults and $29 for kids for lunch and dinner. One thing to note, this restaurant also has a lounge where you can order a la carte items from the regular menu, so that's an option as well. This lounge does require advanced dining reservations though. It's not walk-up availability like some of the other lounges on property. Having said that, they do open up a walk-up wait list for the lounge, so you could potentially get in that way if you weren't able to snag a reservation. I have another honorable mention here, which is Akershus Royal Banquet Hall in the Norway Pavilion in the World Showcase. This is a princess character dining experience set in a medieval castle where you can meet Ariel, Belle, Cinderella, Snow White, Aurora. You could also see Tiana, Mulan, or Mary Poppins there, depending on when you go. The meal here is served family style, and there are some more adventurous menu items, but there will be something that should appeal to everyone. It is expensive at $63 for adults and $41 for children, but it is less expensive than Cinderella's Royal Table, and it's not as hard to get a reservation here. So if your main goal is to meet multiple princesses in a short amount of time, this is a good alternative. For best food, it's hard to narrow it down to just 1 or 2. Having said that, Via Napoli is one of the more popular table service restaurants in Epcot, and for good reason. The pizza here is great. The pizzas are cooked in massive wood-burning ovens named after the 3 active volcanoes in Italy, Mounts Etna, Vesuvius, and Stromboli. We always enjoy eating here, but one thing to note about this restaurant is that it gets loud because of the layout of the restaurant. There is a quieter area at the back, but the main dining room has high ceilings and it gets really noisy. Having said that though, if you've got pizza lovers in your party, this is a must try. They have individual to massive size pizzas that are in the $25 to $55 range. They also have pasta options if there are those in your party who would prefer something other than pizza. For best or more adventurous eaters, there's Spice Road Table at the Moroccan Pavilion. Now, in my opinion, this restaurant is underrated. It's usually pretty easy to get a table here, even last minute, and they have some truly delicious options that are definitely not your typical theme park fare. The restaurant itself is beautifully themed and features indoor and outdoor seating that looks out over the World Showcase Lagoon. The house-made hummus fries, naan breads, and spicy shrimp are all delicious, and the Moroccan mule cocktail is a staple here, and it is also delicious. The plates are reasonably priced, under $20. There's not a whole lot for pickier eaters here though, so it's definitely geared more towards guests who are looking for something different, but still very delicious. Other options I want to mention quickly at Epcot are La Hacienda de San Angel in the Mexico Pavilion. They have some seriously delicious options, one of our favorites in the World Showcase. Rose and Crown at the UK Pavilion. Try the fish and chips, they are delicious. Le Cellier is a steakhouse in the Canada Pavilion, and it has some really good food. Beer Garden in the Germany Pavilion is a really fun dining experience with good eats. Garden Grill is a character meal inside the Land Pavilion. It's a rotating restaurant with views of the Living with the Land attraction. I really like this place for breakfast. Really, there's no shortage of good food options at Epcot. I could go on and on. Now over to Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom doesn't have a ton of table service locations, but there's some good eats to be had at this park. One thing I will say though is if you don't plan on spending the entire day at Animal Kingdom, this is definitely a good day to make a reservation at a resort restaurant or a restaurant in Disney Springs. Having said that, if you are in the park later and are looking to either have lunch or dinner there, let's go over some options. So for experience and immersion, there's Tusker House. Tusker House is located in the Africa section of the park. This is a character dining experience where you'll get to meet and greet with Mickey, Goofy, Donald, and Daisy and their safari-themed attire. The theming of the restaurant is very well done, and it's definitely a fun dining experience, especially for families with younger kids, or kids at heart. This is a buffet meal, and like I said, being a character dining experience, it's not cheap at $29 for kids and $45 for adults at breakfast, and $38 for kids and $59 for adults for lunch and dinner. Breakfast is your standard options, and for lunch and dinner, there's some good options like the Moroccan spice beef, spit roasted herb chicken, and green curry shrimp, among others. There's also some more accessible options like mac and cheese and corn dogs for the littles and pickier eaters. For best food, there's Yak and Yeti. This restaurant is located in the Asia section of the park. This restaurant is themed for a village home that's been converted into a restaurant. Inside, it's decorated with what Disney calls the proprietor's collection of Southeast Asian artifacts. The theming of this restaurant is really immersive. The food is inspired from various regions from across Asia, and it offers menu items such as sweet and sour chicken, ahi tuna nachos, pot stickers, Kobe burgers, and much more. Appetizers range from $13 to $22, and entrees in the $20 to $38 range. There are some kid-friendly options like mac and cheese, cheeseburgers, and chicken tenders on the menu as well. When it comes to best for more adventurous eaters, there's a stellar option in Tiffin's. This is a signature restaurant located at the turnoff right before you walk into Pandora. This restaurant's main theme is travel, and the dining rooms are themed to Africa, Asia, and exotic animals. The restaurant is beautifully themed and decorated with artwork inspired by the works of the Imagineers who created Animal Kingdom. The food is inspired by Asian and African flavors. This is a signature restaurant, which means the prices are steeper, but there are some very good options on the menu. The signature bread service is a must-get in my opinion. Appetizers range from $11 to $18, and entrees from $32 to $65. There's also some delicious cocktails for the 21 and over crowd. There are some more accessible options for the kids here as well, like rice dishes with veggies or white cheddar mac and cheese. Quick side note here, the Nomad Lounge is attached to Tiffin's, and it's one of my all-time favorite places to grab a bite to eat and a yummy drink. It's a relaxed atmosphere and a perfect place to stop on a hot Animal Kingdom day. Try the churros here, they are really good. You can also get Tiffin's bread service, and I'm partial to the Hightower Rocks drink, but there's a bunch of good options. It doesn't require advanced dining reservations, and the walk-up wait list does fill up, but it's definitely worth a stop. So, this is by no means an exhaustive list of all the worthy options in the park, but in my opinion, this is a good start for you to look into these restaurants and their menus to see if these would work for you and your party. I can give you suggestions, but at the end of the day, you know what's best for you and your family. Now, let's talk about some good options at Disney Springs. There's lots of really good dining options here. Actually, some of the best options on all of Disney World property are at Disney Springs. If you find yourself there on an off day or wanting to spend your evening there, here's some good options to consider. For immersion and experience, there's Chef Art Smith's Homecoming. Homecoming is another of my favorite restaurants on all of Disney property. The vibes at this restaurant are awesome and the food is absolutely delicious. The inside of the restaurant has light colors and a very easygoing atmosphere. The servers are wearing plaid button-up shirts, and the service here is always on point. The food here is Southern comfort food, and boy oh boy do they do it right. You can do brunch, lunch, or dinner here, and honestly, you can't go wrong with any meal period. The thigh-high chicken biscuits, the deviled eggs, the hush puppies, fried chicken and donuts, hummingbird cake, it's all delicious. For the 21 and over crowd, they have some really good drink options. Appetizers range from around $14 to $20, and entrees from $20 to $37, and it's 100% worth it. This is another place that books up very quickly, even at 60 days, so if you want to get in, plan early. I also want to mention Raglan Road, which is another good option. It's an Irish pub that features live music and dance. It also offers a good brunch on the weekends. The pub has dark wood throughout and leather chairs. The main bar is impressive and it definitely looks authentic. The food here is also very good. Bangers and mash, fish and chips, bread pudding. There's some stellar options on the menu that are sure to please. Appetizers are under $20 and the main dishes range from $24 to $38. There are some good kid-friendly options on the menu here as well. While the atmosphere is great, it's probably not as pleasing to children. I do also want to make a quick honorable mention for Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. While this is not a true table service restaurant, it's more of a lounge, it's 100% worth a visit. It's themed to Indiana Jones, and the lounge has nods to Raiders of the Lost Ark, and even an R2-D2 as a nod to George Lucas. The menu features some appetizers and tapas-style options like the charcuterie board inside a pretzel or the chicken on the egg deviled eggs, along with good selections of cocktails and beer. Food options are affordable, and again, it's definitely worth a visit, even if it's just for a quick drink and bite to eat. For best food, there's the Boathouse. Really, there's so many good options at Disney Springs, like I said, but I feel like the Boathouse will appeal to most people. The theme is nautical in the many dining rooms, and there is a raw seafood bar, as well as the Admiral Clubs bar or the Dock Bar. There is outdoor seating here that looks out over the water, and it's a really nice place to grab a bite to eat with a yummy drink. The main menu has surf and turf options, steaks, pasta, sandwiches, burgers. There's a wide range of options here with a wide range of prices that are sure to please almost everyone. Wine Bar George is another good option. This restaurant has over 100 choices of different wines, rosé, and cocktails. Pair that with some seriously delicious tapas-style eats and you've got the recipe for a truly fun dining experience. The restaurant itself has exposed bricked accent walls and definitely has more of a bar feel. This is best for a date night atmosphere. The crispy mac and cheese bites, house-made hummus, saganaki on fire, charcuterie board are all good options. The small plates are under $20 and some of the larger charcuterie boards are in the $40 to $60 range. I definitely recommend a meal here. For more adventurous eaters, there's Morimoto Asia. Morimoto is described by Disney as a pan-Asian cuisine-style restaurant. It's beautiful inside with massive chandeliers and a second story with additional seating and a full sushi bar. The menu is extensive with tons of delicious options from sushi rolls to spring and egg rolls, dumplings, tempura shrimp, Peking duck, Morimoto spare ribs, ramen, lo mein noodles. There's really a ton of great options here. It is on the expensive side. Smaller plates are around $20 and entrees range from $30 to $70. If you're looking for something different, this is definitely a solid option in Disney Springs. Honorable mention here as well for Jaleo, which is a restaurant serving Spanish tapas, paella, and sangria. The restaurant is a massive, multi-level space with vibrant atmosphere and colors. The plates here are designed to be shared and go perfect with the sangria. The options vary in price, and this is another good option for a date night atmosphere. Other good options are Frontera Cucina, which is a really good Mexican restaurant, and Paddlefish, which has a similar menu to Boathouse and good lakeside views. Now, this is by no means an exhaustive list of all the available dining options at Disney Springs, but it's a good starting point. Next, we're heading to the resorts. There are so many good dining options at the resorts. Some of the best restaurants on property are tucked away and most people may not even know about them or are unwilling to venture out and experience them. But I promise some of these restaurants really make it worth it. So I'll narrow it down to a few restaurants that you should consider for your trip. Even if you're not staying at these resorts, it's worth visiting for the dining experience alone, and who knows, you may find where you'll stay during your next trip by eating at one of these restaurants. For immersion and experience, we're heading to Wilderness Lodge to dine at Storybook Dining at Artist Point. The Wilderness Lodge is in the Magic Kingdom area and can be accessed by boat or bus from Magic Kingdom. This restaurant is themed to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It is a character meal and you get to meet and greet with Snow White, the Evil Queen, Grumpy, and Dopey. The atmosphere of the restaurant is really fun in a beautiful space with lit trees. The menu is prix-fixe, and because it's a character meal, it is expensive at $69 per adult and $39 per child. The shared appetizers are a mushroom bisque, hunter's pie, and shrimp cocktail. There's a few entree options. The prime rib and chicken are both good options. The kid entrees are served on a very cute plated arrangement. The shared desserts are really fun for the whole family. There's Miner's Treasure, which is cookies and cream panna cotta, the Fairy Tale meringue and gooseberry tart, the Poison Apple, which is dark chocolate and apple mousse with a sour center, and the Hunter's Gift to the Queen, which is a surprise I won't spoil. This reservation is very hard to get, so this is one where you'll want to take advantage of your 60-day booking window if it is a priority for you and your party. For best food, we're going to Riviera Resort for Topolino's breakfast. The Riviera Resort is accessible via the Skyliner from Hollywood Studios or Epcot's International Gateway entrance, or by bus from the other parks. Topolino's is on the top floor of the resort, and the restaurant theme is French Riviera. It's an aesthetically pleasing space, and it is a character meal, so again, it is very expensive. You will meet and greet here with Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy. Mickey is in an artist's outfit with paint on his apron, and Minnie is in a super cute dress. The breakfast here is truly delicious. Aside from the magic of meeting the characters, the food is amazing. The wood-fired steak and eggs, sour cream waffle, wild mushroom scrambled are all phenomenal options. They also bring assorted pastries and treats in a painter's bucket. For the kids, there's Mickey Waffle Dippers, which are super cute and our kids absolutely love them. This is one of those places where the experience was so good, it just created such happy memories that I don't have a bad thing to say about dining here. I 100% recommend it. One thing to note, the character meal is only for breakfast, not for dinner. For dinner, it becomes an upscale French cuisine restaurant. For more adventurous eaters, we have Ohana at the Polynesian Resort. The Polynesian is also located in the Magic Kingdom area. It is accessible by monorail from Magic Kingdom or your own 2 feet in case you haven't already done enough walking during your vacation. It is also accessible by monorail from Epcot. You will have to transfer at the Transportation and Ticket Center though, or TTC for short. This is another of my favorite places to eat on property. The restaurant has Polynesian theming and the vibes are very relaxed, and they will often have a live musician playing the ukulele. This is a fixed price family style dining experience, and it is expensive at $59 per adult and $38 per child. The starters are a mixed green salad with signature Ohana bread with honey butter. They then bring honey coriander wings, pork dumplings tossed in a garlic chili sauce, Ohana noodles, and broccolini. They also bring the Ohana dinner skillet, which has grilled beef teriyaki, peel and eat shrimp, and chimichurri grilled chicken. And it's Ohana bread pudding with homemade caramel sauce for dessert. The highlights, in my opinion, are the noodles and the bread pudding, but in all honesty, it's all delicious and it differs from your standard theme park fare. Although you won't see it on the menu, they do have mac and cheese, fries, hot dogs for kids and pickier eaters that they will bring upon request at no extra charge. I've barely scratched the surface of the resort restaurants. I really mean it when I say some of the best restaurants on property are tucked away at the resorts. Having said all that, you don't need to worry about advanced dining reservations to have a wonderful trip. But if you're wanting to eat at those coveted restaurants, you will want to plan ahead to make sure you are giving yourself the best chance to make a reservation. There are a ton of quick service or counter service options in and around the parks that also serve up delicious options. I'll go deeper into those in a future episode. So, making advanced dining reservations and deciding where you're going to eat can seem like a lot. But again, with some planning and preparation, you can make sure that you have some really good dining experiences during your magical vacation. That will do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk Disney dining. To make sure you don't miss any future episodes, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. I would also love if you could take a moment to rate and review the show. This helps us reach more listeners and I love the feedback. Make sure to follow us on Facebook or Instagram for much more magical content. Have a great day and we'll see you real soon.